Hello, hello. And how are you today? We're going to talk about something super interesting. How do you think millionaires become millionaires? I recently saw a post on Instagram. I think it was from Rachel Rogers, and it said, millionaires don't dream, they plan. We're going to talk about this with another planning expert on the next Money and You show. Your relationship with money matters. I'm Michelle Perkins, and this is the Money and You podcast, where I will be breaking down your relationship with money, offering tough love money tips, and a money dating plan that will focus on lifting the barriers to success to help pave the way for better money practices and increased wealth. It's time to take control to live a limit-free life. It starts today. Hello, hello, and welcome to the Money and You show. I'm Michelle Perkins, your host, and we have a great show for you today. It's almost November. Today's the 31st. Happy Halloween. And we are going to have a great show today talking about one of my favorite topics, planning. And it's November. It's a perfect time to start thinking about planning. So we have an expert planner and coach, and we're going to have a great conversation, a casual conversation, but a great conversation about planning. I don't want this to be stiff and difficult for people to take in. So let me introduce Lorenda Phillips. Lorenda has been on my show a few times, both when it was the Limit Free Life show and now. She is a master certified coach and CEO of The Essential Entrepreneur. She's been a business coach for over 20 years, and in this time working with thousands of business owners, she has developed a system to keep in place the goals, strategy, and actions needed to succeed. Joining forces with me, CEO of Limit Free Life, Michelle Perkins, providing coaching and personal development, we lead an annual business incubator program which guarantees off-the-charts results and upscales owners to the 6 to 7 figure levels. Our commitment is to create leaders and joyful and prosperous and fulfilled business owners. Welcome, Lorenda.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
I'm so happy that you're here. I love having you on the show because we talk about business a lot, and we have a lot of fun talking about business, and we like to solve business problems together, and that has made my work so much more fun to have you in my life helping me to do that and joining forces a little bit. And where we really joined forces a couple of years ago was doing our planning course together. And from that, we've, just grown into a lovely friendship and partnership. And I think together we're really helping people in different ways and more, more powerfully. So do you want to share a little about yourself and kind of how you got to this place in your coaching and your career?
Yeah. Thank you. Again, it's so fun to be here. So, when we started our business, my experience in business in my 20s and 30s and 40s and half of my 40s was in business sales, like business to business sales. And it was in companies that had very robust sales trainings and $1 million trainings. We'd go somewhere, we'd stay a week. We'd be videotaped. We'd, go through the pitches, and we were really excellent at the end of the week. And when I became a coach, I saw how great it would be for me to coach. And I thought, God, these business owners have nothing in terms of support. And, they still don't have a lot. They have a lot of marketing support, but my sense of it is they don't have a lot of business support, like what it is to run a business. So I've been working for over 20 years with business owners and athletes who have become business owners. And we, I've been doing, as Michelle said, we've been doing this planning stuff for a while, me independent of Michelle, but also the two of us for several years now. And what I noticed is, either people plan or they don't, right? A lot of people don't. But even those that plan and then put it on the shelf for the year. So they don't really use it as the roadmap it should be used as. So it's kind of like, okay, we've got a map to New York City, and yay, okay, we got the map, and we put it into some application, and we don't look at it again. It's just nutty. You may end up, I don't know, you have no idea of how long it's going to take, etc. So, but it's amazing. Business owners think they've done the work when they've done the plan. Mm-hmm. And there's that other part of it, which is, working the plan. Right. They got the plan to work, but not working the plan. So both she and I got our heads together and said, we got to provide something, because too many people are not succeeding, and they should be. So we invented another course. So do you want to talk about that, Michelle?
Sure. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And let's talk first about the idea of planning, because I think one of the reasons that people don't necessarily do a plan at all, and they can, there's a lot of ways to justify this in your mind. But and we've all done it, but planning can be it can be complicated. It can be somewhat unstructured. It can potentially contain a lot of things. So it can be pretty confusing to do on your own, which is why we developed a planning day where we guide you through specific things. And I think what has been unique about what we've done is we touch on a lot of areas before we actually get to any strategies or actions, and we kind of build a foundation. And we do build a foundation, not kind of, and that foundation is what allows that plan to really work. And we get into things like feelings and money mindset, and some of the visioning, the bigger vision that actually gets you up and out of bed when the plan feels too hard. Do you want to just share some other aspects of the planning that we've tried to put into place? And I just want to say we gave this so much thought because we both have had a lot of years of experience, and we've done a lot of plans, and we've seen a lot of plans, and we've studied a lot of planning models.
That's right.
And eventually you just get frustrated by all the things that you've done or you've read about or you see other people doing that just haven't worked well enough for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or ourselves. I mean, that's another thing, is that it's really good to look at ourselves to see what's missing, so that we can then bridge that gap. Right. But I think I think we are such a great team because, well, first of all, you have plenty of business experience, but what you love is a lot of the softer elements of running a business. And I have that locomotive business thing. And it's really great because I've learned to be a little softer. I haven't seen any change in you. You've been great all along. But for me, I'm really sensing, like I'm looking as a coach, how is it going? Like I love that what we're up to is making sure that people are joyful, that they have abundance and prosperity, not just in money, which is, the engine for a business, the kind of the gas for the engine for the business. Mm-hmm. But it's also like abundance and prosperity and, a lot, like abundant. So that's abundant discoveries, abundance in personal life. It's abundant, not just the money.
Right.
And then the fulfillment, like, that you really do love what you do. Mm-hmm. And it makes a meaningful difference in your life. Life goes awfully fast. And, if you have your head down the whole time, you're not really sensing the full enjoyment of what your business could be. Mm-hmm. And if it's not fulfilled, if it's not those three things, I think it's really good to talk to a coach and look to see, okay, what can you do to bring those in? Or what do you need to do in your business life so that you do have those three elements? So there's all that about the elements. And where I came from and you came from is we looked at that individual. That's why we talked about the feelings. But that also, who the business is, what the business is the CEO, the owner, the founder of the company. Sometimes we act as if the company owns us. No, we own the company. And what that context shift is brings a lot more ownership to the business owners. So I think that's a very distinct change. And then we look to see, okay, how do the different components like goals, how do goals come? Well, goals come from vision and mission. And how do strategies come? They come from goals. So there's a basic flow on how to set this up and to kind of check it through the year too. I think that I've done a lot, as Michelle said, we've done a lot of plans. We've seen a lot of plans. And I really think with the combination of both of us, we really give a lot to the client so that they have a blueprint. They have a roadmap for them. What they don't have, and this is why we came up with a year program, is they don't have that consistency of actualization and fulfillment through the year. They may look at it once, in the middle of the year, but let me tell you, they don't. But okay, maybe some of you out there do. But pretty much they do not look at their plans very often. And so it's kind of like forgotten.
Right.
Or it's changed, like the business has changed. So what do you do now? So there's no support for that, for the changes that are going on. So we created the growth environment program. And I really think it is completely about fulfilling on that plan you create. So, and having it realized, like, not just a hope and a dream. I go back to that, the quote, it's not just a dream. And I don't even want to say just, because dreams are great.
Right.
But if that's what you got, that's not going to fulfill. And I really think we are really handling that gap that there is in the marketplace. If you don't have a structure, like someone supporting you through the year, week after week, month after month, quarter after quarter, supporting you in what you said you were going to do. And plans change, right? So sometimes there's a shift in like, I thought that was going to be my second priority this year, and it's not. I'm not going to do it. So then we're there to help create where is the hole? We'll fill that in. What is it that you need? What's missing? So you and I are there helping them.
Yeah. Thanks, Lorenda. And you're exactly right. Plans do change, and the blueprint might be great to start out. Maybe your business model changes. Maybe some, unique circumstance changes. Maybe, there's people leave, or, the economy changes and the marketplace changes in some way. And so we have to be pretty adept at changing our plan. And I think part of what we're helping people see is a really comprehensive planning structure that you can take with you and use as many times as you need to change these plans, and to be also paying attention. You brought up the growth environment, and that was something that I think is so important. It is a way to look on a regular basis. We do it quarterly, at your business and your plans, and evaluate what's going on. And I think sometimes, along with the big dream, we can get caught up in our hopes for things, like you said, and not check in with the reality quite as much as we should.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain a little about the growth environment and
the
components there?
There's so far we've been doing this course a bit. But so far there's 8 components that are critical in running your business and accelerating it. So the Yeah, so there's that. And we've got the couple of names are the finances. We look at the financials. And then we also look at, any learning that's been done, any relationship building. And there's, any creativity that's been brought in. And then there's, I don't know how many I just listed, but there's 8 of them. And then there's you score yourself like, okay, so how am I doing it financially up against my goals? Okay, from 1 to 5, 5 being best, 1 being worst. And then what's next? Where's the hole? What was missing? What components were missing in that? Like one of the avenues is learning and growing. And, people have, oh, yeah, I'll do this course and I'll do that. Blah, blah, blah. But let's say you're in your second quarter and you're like, oh, I haven't done that course yet. So, you look to see how important was that course to your development of your business. Oh, it wasn't that important. Okay, then let's not kid ourselves, right? Let's not think that just because we said something, 1, that it's going to happen, and 2, actually even more importantly, that it's going to mean anything to your business. And sometimes you just don't know in the beginning of the year. You just think that that's what's going to be great for you in the area of growth, for instance. But every quarter we look at that and see, okay, so you're going to grow and you're going to grow exponentially. How are you going to do it? So that's the in the area of learning. So that's just an example of one of them. And and the thing that I think is really amazing about it, well, first of all, it's from
venture capitalists.
VCs. And VCs look at certain things before they invest, and also while they're investing. So they're expecting a certain level of competency and results. And if they don't, and it's in these areas, and Michelle and I create a few more, but mostly in these areas. So, but nobody else as a business owner, they don't look at that stuff unless they're getting money from a VC. So that's the other reason why we got so excited about this, because, and they don't have the systems or anything that we've got in place. So I wanted to say that as well. So part of this environmental growth program also includes the quarterly classes. It's a full day. Also, weekly, we just have a short, Monday, Tuesday motivational email that goes out. Then we also have a monthly kind of not a newsletter a little bit, Michelle. I would say it's a tool, and we send it out. And then we're putting in together now business trainings. So actual trainings once a month. And then Michelle and I have office hours. So there is somebody there once a week that you could ask questions. You can about the trainings. You could ask questions about what's happening in your business, or any questions or problems you're having in business, so that you get the experts, 2 of us, working with you. And then Michelle and I talk to each other once a week, so that we go through the list of people, like what's going on and what they need. And so it's a full program for us. And then finally, I think this is so great too about it is we have a portal. So all the information, all the course information, all the, monthly, weekly things that we do, that goes into the portal. So let's say, we've got a training on sales. And let's say you're an entrepreneur, you're in this program, and you have a big sales presentation to deliver on. Now, you could call us, right? You could go to a call-in office hour and ask us. But another way to do it too is to just go into the portal. You go into the sales training module, and it goes through what you need to do as a pre-sale. What do you do during the sale, and what do you do as an after the sale? So it's and And that's just one example. There's 12 different examples of, basic basic training as a business owner. Mm-hmm. And those go from, as I said, sales, marketing, business culture. How do you develop that? Finances. How do you read your P&Ls? How do you read your balance sheets? I don't know. Michelle, do you remember a couple
Well,
more?
we've got quite a few. We've got pricing, and then we've got some things
pricing.
Where we just talk about you as a person trying to do all of this, and how you take care of yourself and why that matters. And we try to cover, because we're interested not just in the plan success, but you having a sustainable business and you yourself being happy and joyful in this business. We try to look at the whole picture, even though we're there, to help you stay on this road that you're on and to achieve the success you want. We want to be all encompassing. We've both coached people long enough to know that your personal life intersects with your business life and your health intersects with your business life. And so it really is a very holistic kind of approach, because we can't.
Yeah, I would say, Michelle, we probably work on the personal areas as much as the business.
Yeah,
I really do think, because it's,
it just comes
we're not robots.
No. And when people come in with problems in their business, a lot of times they're actually issues in their life that they have to resolve so that they can work on whatever the business goal is.
And some people don't have the best of habits or work behaviors.
Yeah.
And sometimes that actually takes a while to uncover.
That's right. And that is a focus of ours. Thank you for bringing that up, because things like integrity and mindfulness and great habits, discipline, these are kind of the building blocks too that we talk about a lot, so that people can stay on track. And that's what happens when you do, let's face it, planning is fun. Not for everybody, but for us and for a lot of people,
for us nerds, it is.
Yeah, it gets the wheels turning about what's possible, and you start thinking about your plan and what you want, and how great it's going to be. And that's a really fun experience. You come away usually from anybody's planning workshop feeling like, so energized about what you want to do. And then if you don't actually, practice the things that you need to practice, do the things you need to do, and pay attention to that plan and use it, the disappointment is it really builds, and that creates a lot of negativity around planning, but also just in general in your business. It starts to be a hindrance, actually, because your confidence is affected and your self-esteem, and you don't really want these emotional ups and downs. And so I think keeping that plan handy, knowing what to do, honestly, each day, you could look at that plan. If you wake up in the morning going, I have so much to do, what should I focus on? Well, that plan is designed to answer that question. And so you're not sitting around getting confused and overwhelmed. And so it has some very useful aspects to it that will solve a lot of problems. But it does get put on a shelf sometimes.
And I know that I talk about the system a lot, because that's what it is. It's a system. But, I really think about what we do with people. And I think that's why it really has got to be run, not necessarily by trainers, but by coaches, because we hear things. And then we ask questions about those things. We are very good. We're very competent businesswomen. So that's there. But there are a lot of those. But we have the combination of that competency plus the competency and many years of coaching. And so it's a wonderful combination. And for sure, anybody that is really wanting to skyrocket in their business, or, the new term is scale up, but it really is to skyrocket. And they don't have a coach, they're hurting themselves. The coaching really works. There are so many, if you're listening to this, go Google coaching and see statistically the difference between someone that's coached and somebody that's not. Or think of an athlete. Can you imagine an NFL player without a coach? They have like 10 types of coaches on the field. So it's, and you know, those people get paid a lot of money. And, you know, the teams, I was trying to think of another word, but the teams, you know, they need to make the franchise. That's what they call them. The franchise needs to make money, and they need their people in top performance. And that's why they get very expensive coaches to look, to see what's going on, and then to direct from the sidelines, just like Michelle and I do. But it's critical to them. And I think it's critical to business owners. And I think as coaches, we don't tell the truth about that. I think it's too self-aggrandizement or something. But no, it's really true. You know, if you're up to something, get a coach.
Yeah, and
you know, that was a little pitch on coaching. I didn't realize that was going to come out, but
well,
you know.
I do believe it's true, and we both of us get calls from people who are feeling stuck, overwhelmed, wanting to quit, wanting to run away, wanting to do a lot of things, and you have to have that sounding board. You have to have that person to calm you down, see a different perspective. It's I don't think any of us, you know, and I'll turn this over to you, but I don't think any of us are particularly capable of coaching ourselves as much as we might think we could. Even those of us who are coaches, who know how to coach, we just can't coach ourselves. I don't think we really should coach people in our family either, but I think it's very important to know that we can only see so much from, you know, the lens we're looking through and from what we know. And it's just, you know, there are other ways to look at things, and we need to be able to see them.
You know the SWOT analysis, Michelle, the strengths, opportunities, threats. Strengths, opportunities.
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities.
Strengths, weaknesses.
And then I like to say trends, actually, for T, but T's changed over time.
Yeah. But, you know, that's a very, very popular and long-lived model. And they, you know, and corporations use it all the time, big corporations. And this is the thing, and it's definitely aligned with what you've been talking about, and also what I had just talked about too. It's a thing. It's a system. It's an information. But if you don't use the information to make a change, it's just information. And I think that's why coaching's so important. I'm doing it again, but is to really say, oh, got it. You got that? You got that the market's changing a little bit? Great. Well, how do you think it's changing? Okay. So then what are you going to put in place to address that? Because I don't think a lot of people on their own ask that, second question.
Right.
So it's and you know, there's change, when I think about myself and my background, I had 3 jobs in 3 different corporations in like 15 years or maybe a little bit more. And all of them are no longer in business.
Right.
And they were big companies. So that just tells us things are in change, things are in flux. And, you know, to be like always watching what's going on. And I think that's one of the great things about the SWOT analysis. And to keep looking at that to see if there's any change going on. And it's hard to see. Sometimes you can't really see it, or sometimes you don't want to see it. So, again, I think that's a great exercise in our program.
Yeah, and that's a great example, because change is hard anyway. And I loved what you said about doing the analysis, but then not really knowing how to change or what to change, or, you know, that's where you can get really stuck. And I think that's where people do need help with that. We all do. And, you know, just having been, you know, because we clearly both love coaching. I would love to hear your take on what coaching, how it's helped people, and also, where are the best places for coaches to step in? I mean, we don't, we're not holding anybody's hand 24/7. That people are very capable on their own in many ways. So when and where is a good place for coaching help? Whether you're the person who needs it or,
Yeah, I think if you seem to be wanting to go outside your normal comfort zone, because that's hard to do by yourself. You can't even see it sometimes. Yeah. So there's that. The other thing is when you're stuck. And that's like, I've been doing this over and over again, expecting this different result, right? Well, maybe we should not keep doing that. Or the whole idea, I use this analogy, Lorenda, I don't know why my head hurts so much. And it's like, well, if you could just, not bang your head on the brick wall. It would, and I've done it. That's why I can say it. Yeah. I've done that. It's like, oh, shoot. So coaching helps there too.
Right.
Like, okay, going to sleep at 2 a.m. is not going to help your business. I mean, that's a silly example, but it has been in one of my clients. Mm-hmm. Or one client had a couch in his office and he slept on that couch. And he was 30 something, maybe 35. And I'm like, I don't think so. Let's have a conversation when you're 65, but not now.
Yeah.
And that man went from, I think he was at 300,000. He was a plumber, 300,000 to 2.8 in 2 years.
Wow.
And he just got to work. I mean, he was interested and he got to work. And so there's that. So also, if you really start to look at some behaviors that you have that are not supportive of the business vision you have. So I'd say those areas or if you're unhappy, that whole thing about, the fulfillment and prosperity and joy, if those aren't happening, I think coaching helps. Even if the client sees that he or she should not even be in the business anymore. Great. Then let's create something. What do you want? What is it that you want? And start from the beginning. I rarely have seen people who own their business go back into corporate, but they definitely have changed their business. Mm-hmm. I have a number that changed their business and for the better.
Yeah, and I have seen a few people go back into corporate actually, and happily. They really decided, but when they went back in, they were very choosy about where they went, and they had their business, and it was, going at whatever pace it was going and delivering whatever results it was delivering. So they had their eye out on, if an amazing job comes along, I might think about taking it, but they weren't desperate and they were very picky. And in a couple of cases, an amazing opportunity did show up, and their business became something they did on the side. They didn't entirely abandon it. They could still offer those services on a limited basis on the side, but then they had a job that they really loved. So I do think you can, you can make this work for you. And I loved what you said, though, because I think again, I love the whole feeling side of this. And you said if you're super unhappy in your business, I mean, most people think, well, if I'm not getting the financial results or, building the client base, then I need a coach. But if you're just not enjoying this business and you've created a job for yourself instead of an amazing vision that you wanted, that's really when it is super important to get some help with that.
I just completely agree with that. Like going back to what you said about mindfulness, discipline, and integrity is the mindfulness part is, that's where I've got the joy. Like, to create, I think about the feeling words I have this year. And I got them right here they're alive, gratitude, at peace, joyful, and brave. And I have them right here. I obviously haven't memorized them, but they're right here on a little form here. And I just look at them every once in a while and say, okay, how was today for you? Mm-hmm. And it's not making myself wrong or right or anything, just a check. Mm-hmm. How am I doing? Mm-hmm. Like being mindful. of what I said I wanted through the year. And the other thing is the discipline is to kind of be checking that. That's a discipline, like flossing, right? That's a discipline. And then there's lots of discipline. I think too, a lot of people go into their own business. They have kind of a bit of a naive point of view. Naive is a little harsh, but a bit of a naive point of view, which is, I won't have to work so hard. And I think I want to laugh when they say that, because the truth is, especially initially, you work pretty hard. But that's why you got to have a lot of love. You know, you just got to love what you do. And now that's not for everybody. Not everybody has to work hard. I have a big work ethic. I'm sure that's part of Lorenda. But to really be disciplined in doing the work you need to do, doing what you said you do, which is integrity. So if you are saying, I'll do X, Y, Z, and you don't, eventually you won't trust yourself to keep your word. And that is a bad hole to get yourself into. You can get out, but you really do need a coach for that. But the naivete, I think, is important to address. And that's in the mindfulness, discipline, and integrity. And we talk about that. You know, it's so funny because we've got different elements of shoring up success for a business owner. We have the plan. We have the growth environment. So they check off the different components. And then we have kind of the feeling, emotional, behavioral part, which is the mindfulness, integrity, and discipline. And so I think we've really covered the elements of what people feel and have to deal with as business owners. And I don't know any program that has this kind of structure and this kind of coverage to support business ownership.
Yeah, thank you. And I would agree with you. And I think we've really dedicated ourselves to looking at what we've learned over the years and what we've seen and putting it together so that there's something really of value to people. This isn't just something that we want to throw out there. We want people to get the value from it. And so thank you, Lorenda. I hope, if nothing else, that our listeners have heard that it's important to have help. It's important to get a coach. It's important not to try to do all of this on your own and think through everything on your own, and the importance of planning, because it really is important. And what you were talking about is, not doing the things you said you were going to do. Well, sometimes that's because we have some very real distractions that come up. But if you go back to the plan, that plan can ground you. It can help you see what should be done. And even if you can do a bit of it, that is, maybe you're distracted away from some of it. But if you can do a bit of it, or, whatever you can do, then you're still living in integrity, and you're still being mindful of your situation, and you're still being disciplined. And that you want to keep instilling a sense of confidence in yourself too as you go through this. That brings the joy.
I just want to acknowledge business owners.
Thank you.
They're just, I get so emotional about this. They're such remarkable human beings. From kind of nothing, they create something, and a lot of them do extremely well. And they've worked on themselves. Over the years, they've made mistakes. They got back up. I'm just honored, not only to work with you too, by the way, but also with them. It's so wonderful. And talk about fulfillment. I'm so fulfilled by what I do. And I want that for them as well. So anyway,
thank you. And I'm honored to work with you. And I agree with you. It's such a pleasure to work with people, even in their struggle, to see them, get over the struggle, to see them transform themselves to have that fulfillment. So, Lorenda, thank you so much for being here. Our time went really fast. I know it would.
Is it already?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But can you please let people know how they can connect with you individually? I mean, that would be great.
All right. It's on the one thing is you can get in touch with me on my website, which is theessentialentrepreneur.com. And then also you can text or call me at area code 310-413-8636. And even if you just got a question or a problem or something that we could kind of put our minds to together, that would be, I live for that. So call Michelle. But I would love to hear from you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you for bringing, just the value of coaching to this show. It probably does sound like self-promotion for both of us, but it really, we don't mean it that way. We mean it because we have both invested in a lot of coaching. We are coaches because we believe in coaches, and neither one of us need to be doing this at this point. We do it because we know it works and because we love it. Yeah. So, and, I would invite anyone who is interested to contact us. You can reach me at michelle@limitfreelife.com or Lorenda at The Essential Entrepreneur, and let us know if you're interested in the upcoming planning courses in January. We'll be getting those filled up pretty quickly. So reach out, and thank you so much for listening. This is the Money and You Show, where we talk about your relationship with money. And of course, that means creating business and work that will make you the money that you hope to earn so that you can have that relationship with that money. And you can find us at ubngo.com, where the show is broadcast from. You can find us on all the podcast platforms, as well as the Limit Free Life YouTube channel and Roku and a bunch of different places. And thank you so much for being here. Please reach out to us with any questions you have as well. We're happy to answer business questions or money questions, and we'd love to hear from you. So thank you so much for listening today, and have a great week.